everybody, I'm Gary. This is Physical Format Rock and Roll, joined with one of my best friends, Mr. Jeff Whitcher from Final Destination. So, saw the Surfrajettes last night in Toledo, Ohio, at a place called Frankie's. We've never been there before. Obviously, you guys know, I've seen the Surfrajettes a few times, and Jeff lives up in Michigan, and I thought maybe meeting down in Toledo is kind of like a midpoint for us. And I thought, hey Jeff, do you have any interest in seeing him? And he said, yeah. So we met up and we saw him, had a good time. What was your impression of the band?
Well, first of all, I love the whole retro feel. One of the things we keep going back to is they're all dressed alike. They're all wearing these like knee-high go-go boots. And their guitars, like even their guitar straps match.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know that I've ever noticed that before. I saw they all had the guitar strap that had a P on it, and so I don't know what it said, but yeah, they all had the same straps. I never noticed that before either.
Yeah, but I love that. Anytime you see a show in an intimate setting like that, and there weren't like a ton of people, it wasn't packed full of people, which was kind of nice.
It was a small place. It was probably one of the smaller crowds I've seen for the band. I mean, unfortunately, I guess for them in a way, but I mean, nice for us that there wasn't a crowd and we were able to be right there by the stage. But yeah, it was a smaller crowd, but it was a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So and the weather, there was like threat of bad weather and everything, so that probably didn't help. But
right.
Musically, what'd you think?
Well, I bought the album a couple weeks ago because I knew, once I knew I was going to the show, I'm like, well, I got to immerse myself in their music. And I love that music right away. I've always loved like the Dick Dale or the Ventures or that kind of, surf guitar sound. And I listened to it like on Spotify all the way on the drive up here. So I've been in love with the music for at least a couple of weeks, and then to see them live, and I'm watching like their fingers on the fretboard and how they're interacting. The bass player, what she's playing, and not that I'm a musician, but I'm always fascinated, kind of, seeing how it all comes together. But it really was an enjoyable show, and it wasn't overly loud either. Like the opening band, the Black Widows, like that was really loud, and I had to actually plug my ears. But
I liked them. I really liked that band. But yeah, because we were so close, we were getting so much of the noise, the stage noise, from the amps and everything. They were really loud. But the Black Widows, I was impressed by them too. They kind of got that vibe too. But they actually have some songs that had vocals, which we both said kind of reminded us a little bit of X.
Yeah.
Of that band. They had like a little bit of a punk feel to them. So I kind of want to find out more about that band. But the Surfrajettes, I did the same thing. When I watch them, they had Nicole and Shermy, the two guitar players, and they play off each other so well. And I make it like, in my mind, a comparison of like the guitar players for Iron Maiden or Judas Priest, the way they trade off solos and just go back and forth. And I did find myself doing the same thing. And same way with Abby, the bass player from Ohio, and Annie, the drummer. They're very, a lot of energy. They bring a lot of energy to the band. I'm really, really happy to see them. And they're, all over the place. And even though it's a newer band, I mean, they've been around for a while now, but they have that classic sound, and I just feel like they've perfected it. I mean, they're on top of their game, and it's just fun. It's just good, fun music.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to be an instrumental band, no vocals at all, and you're playing in a specific genre, like you have to be really good at it to make it interesting. Because it can be very easy to, every song sounds the same. You can't differentiate one song from another, but with the way that they play and the melody and just their stage presence and everything about them, I mean, it keeps you engaged. And I mean, they played, I don't know, I want to say like 16, 17 songs, and
Yeah,
you're interested the entire time, and you're not getting bored, and you're not, this is all sounding the same. I mean, they mix it up so well, and it's a mix of covers and a mix of originals, and
I think they do a good job with their originals. I think that's where they've kind of, they're getting even better in writing that. Like they have a song called Toasted Western off of their latest album, Easy as Pie, and that to me, that's like one of the best things they've done. I put that song up there with, the Walk Don't Runs, kind of song. It's like it could fit right there with any of those classic surf rock songs. So yeah.
I'm partial to Easy as Pie. I actually love that. I'm glad they played that early on, and then they saved Toasted Western to the very end, although they did do an encore, which was very cool. But they did a cover version of Toxic, the Britney Spears song. Although they did skip over her. It was funny because they had the set list on the stage, and we were in the front row, so I could kind of see, even though it was upside down, I could kind of see like the number of songs that there were and what the song titles were. And I'm like, Heart of Glass. And I asked Gary, is that the cover of the Blondie song? And he's like, yeah. And so I was really excited to see that in the set list, but then they skipped over it. And the song that would have, or the song where I thought Heart of Glass should have been, when they started playing it, I'm like, this doesn't sound like Heart of Glass.
So evidently they didn't want, it was like they had one more show on this tour, so I don't know, maybe they just said, you know what, I don't want to play that one tonight. But yeah, it would have been cool, but overall, good show. I was super happy that you came, really happy that you liked it, so got one more Surfrajettes fan out there now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now I got to get their first.
Roller Fink.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
And their singles too. I want to buy some of their 7-inch singles.
Yeah, it's fine. And all the packaging and everything, it's like you said, it's all retro and, but yet with a little bit of a modern spin on it. And they're all young, so it's kind of cool to see somebody younger like that doing this older vibe of music and keeping it going and, pushing it to, other spots.
Well, it's just a real different experience for me. I've never had, at least not that I can remember anyway. I mean, I'm 40, so we're talking in the course of my music concert attendance, where you go to a show and afterwards you can see them at the merch table and then they're on stage breaking down their equipment. But they were very personable, very friendly. We got to meet each of them, and they signed the little menu that came with the record, and they took a picture with Gary, and just they acted like they'd known Gary forever. Like Gary was a member of the family or something. I'm like, wow, Gary, you never told me that
they're long lost
you had such a kinship with them. But
yeah, it was fun. So,
and they even talked up Gary's channel. They're like, yeah, we watch your channel all the time. You got the best.
They might not have quite been like, he might be exaggerating.
But they did. Physical Format.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew his channel name, and
of course I had a hat on that said Physical Format, so no, I'm just kidding.
And then I'm like, do I look in any way familiar? You ever stumbled on anything look? And you're like, no, like, we have no idea who you are.
All right, so anyway, that's our review of the concert and kind of the band in general. And, for a lot of you, here's what you wanted. So here are some clips. Till the next time, my friends, I'll see you down the road.